Hey Nick. First indeed. Just give you a quick bit of shout out. Hey. Feels weird having a screen this big, but it's fantastic. Still haven't worked out how to connect my old monitor. I've basically just plugged in this new monitor into the cable coming, into the HDMI port coming from my graphics card, and I've plugged the old one into the one coming out of my computer's motherboard, but it doesn't seem to be being detected. So I'm hoping, I haven't bothered yet, but I'm hoping if it's when I've restarted my computer, it might pick up the old monitor as well. So we'll see how that goes. And obviously if that works, I'll have a second monitor for, just checking chat and stuff. Heck yeah, hey Enfys, thank you for the lurk. Yeah, by the way Nick, I hope you're feeling, I know you obviously D&D was cancelled because you aren't feeling great, so I hope you're doing okay at this moment in time. Yeah, just gonna finish doing some links. Alright, that should do it. Okay, so behold my text document. As you can see, it's a little bare bones at the moment. So basically this is going to be run on the 5th. Nick, you've had some pills that the docs think will help. Fingers crossed they'll do. Okay. That's good. Fingers and toes crossed. But yeah, I'm going to be running this on the 5th. It'll be run on this channel. Basically the premise is Guinness, a sentient black pudding who showed up in Rare Hide. Basically this is going to be sort of, a bit, I kind of wanted to sort of build a quest around them. So they're literally just a black pudding that's in some way sentient and has sort of rudimentary magical powers. They don't really have that much control over them. I got quite a positive response for them. It's always the NPCs you make up on the spot, because I literally just drew one of the random encounters that were written by me and all the other DMs involved in the campaign. That was basically everything goes dark and a sentient black pudding shows up. And yep, unexpectedly, or maybe expectedly, the NPC was just well liked, so yeah, here we go. They're getting their own quest. So it's going to be sort of the standard structure. There'll be a sort of a journey segment where they have to travel to the lab this is going to be set in. Oh yeah, Nick already knows this, but there's some hints to what's to come in the name. So very specifically, the mountains are not known as the Whinnying Mountains, and no one's actually sure where its name comes from. Put your answers in the chat if you like. I mean, your guesses in the chat. Except Nick, who knows. And the basic idea is it's going to be sort of like it's going to be a dungeon. It's going to be a sort of like a partial dungeon. So my inspiration was partially like a Resident Evil, the setting for a Resident Evil game, which is usually like an abandoned house or something. that has got some signs of life in it, with the implication things only went bad very recently. And a Fallout vault, which sort of serve like dungeons in the Fallout games, but also sort of yes, Nick, haunts, which also sort of obviously in the lore were basically shelters for the apocalypse. So sometimes actually do have people living in them. So the idea is basically there's like a few sort of levels of the dungeon that are still like just a normal active wizard's lab with a bunch of quirky wizards running the place. The wizard who ran the place originally ran the place, having apparently died ages ago. Or did they? And there's sort of levels that had to be abandoned or have been neglected, so the PCs can sort of will have to have a sort of a social encounter to be granted access to the rest of the dungeon, or just go full murder hobo. This is a game of choices, of course. So yeah, let's get on with it. So obviously I think the first thing I'll do is, what I like to do with NPCs is I use Blades rules to just sort of roll them at random. So what we'll just very quickly do is just quickly roll some genders. So obviously I use Blades rules. So a 1 or 2's a guy, 3 or 4's a girl, a 5 is either non-binary or unclear, and a 6 is a reroll. So first NPC, that's a 6, so reroll. Okay, 2. So that's a guy. A 1, another guy. Yeah, maybe just a little guy. It's his birthday, he's wearing glasses. Okay, 5. Four. Yeah, and another 2. A 1. And a 4. Okay, so we'll get back to them in a sec. And Control S, because even when I'm working, I love to save. I mean, not this is technically work. So I'll just sort of go through the list with the sort of characters I had in mind. So we'll start with the sort of main scientist guy, an assistant, a few miscellaneous ones, and so on and so forth. But first, opening. So obviously I'll want to give everyone on this quest sort of room to decide how they want to sort of join up with this. So the premise is, by the end of this quest, I will know how to spell the word Guinness. You can't copyright, you can't sue us, beverage company. It's just a surname. Okay, Guinness the Black Pudding. It's asking around. How'd they do this? They're doing this by moving through the street slowly. Okay. They've been doing this. Calling. Hello? Does anyone know any adventures? Meet me in the meat hall. Yeah, that works. Obviously, their sort of personality is just sort of endearingly quite nervous. Originally, I gave them sort of like a croaky, "Hello, I am a black pudding" voice, but I did actually get some complaints that it was upsetting some of the players, which, to be fair, it is kind of, you know, a bit grudge ghosty, so I can understand that. So I switched to something a bit like, this is kind of weird, but my inspiration is of Drakengard 3. I've seen literally one clip, and it basically like, I know barely anything about the game, but basically there's a dragon in it who has a really sort of childish sounding voice, and that's kind of my inspiration. Just like a typical monster, but, you know, just has the voice of sort of a kind of a young child and sounds kind of naive. Oh yeah, so obviously this is going to be set in sort of like a mad scientist kind of laboratory, well, mad wizard lab. So if anyone can think of any sort of traps that would fit that theme, I'm going for complex traps, which I'll get onto. But if anyone has any suggestions, throw them in chat. Calling. Hello, if anyone knows any adventures, they can meet me in the meat hall as they slowly slide over the cobbles. Yep, that's nice and evocative. Because of course, like most users, they have ridiculously low movement speeds. Nick, you love a good pit trap? Yeah. To be fair, I might have Guinness just fall for a pit trap early on, because, you know, with sort of NPCs, it's kind of good to just sort of get them out of the picture sooner rather than later. Just so they don't overshadow the PCs. Plus, you know, rescuing Guinness will give the party a bit more motivation. Should the PCs choose to head there, which hopefully they will. I mean, it's pretty much commonplace advice, but whenever you roll a character, always make sure they have a reason to want to go on an adventure. Otherwise, you'll just find yourself role-playing in a way that just drives everyone else up the wall. Guinness with 2 S's and 2 N's. Nailed it. Oh yeah, just to check, by the way, is my microphone working? I mean, there's no reason it wouldn't be, considering I haven't touched my microphone, but still. Okay, audio is good. Thank you, Enfys. give some background on the Whinnying Mountain Lab. Nick, you have me up about 20 decibels higher than most streamers, but you usually do that, to be fair. Okay. Really should work out what's going on there, because I mean, I'm not especially, I don't think I'm quite, maybe I just speak more softly than people in general, but yeah, I've literally always had my microphone turned all the way up, so maybe I am just quiet. Okay. It'll be down to my volume settings compressor, where it is related to my mouth, etc. Well, because I don't have to worry about how this looks on a webcam, I am literally face first into the microphone. Just, well, it's about an inch away from my pop guard, and my face is quite near to my pop guard. I do actually sort of give my pop guard a bit of a wash every so often, because I'm aware I'm just sort of talking right into it. Anyways, so just some sort of background information on the lab, which I'll do as bullet points. It's located to the southwest of Airedale. That's the sort of main town for this campaign, for those not already aware. Although I can't imagine you're here if you're not. It's located to the southwest of Airedale. Built into a mountain range. I basically opened up the DM's sort of world map for the campaign, which Nick basically drew near the start because he is amazing at maps. Thinking about it, so is Blue. I mean, I've got my own plans for how to do maps for this session, which will be a very sort of specific sort of aesthetic, but we'll see how that goes. It'll be a bit of an experiment, but it does fit the theme either way. Basically, I'm planning to draw them on sort of graph paper, as the D&D players of old did. And I don't know if it'll work as an aesthetic, but if it does, great, I'll keep doing that. If not, it was an experiment. Yep, there's no actual mountain called the Whinnying Mountain. Yeah, that'll be a fun reveal if the players can work it out. They probably won't without any further context from the actual dungeon, but still. Okay, do I want to reveal it's an inhabited dungeon off the bat? Wow. Yep, the entrance is guarded, but no one knows who by. Oh yeah, I'll probably need to do a guard NPC as well, but we'll get to that. Okay, so the journey, unbold and underline. So basically, there's a Legend Keeper, which is sort of like a shared tabletop RPG document software with an entire list of encounters for every tarot card if we draw one. So I like to sort of do it randomly. I know Ben and some of the other DMs have basically sort of drawn them in advance and thought about them, but I like to be spontaneous. But I also want to do some non-random ones. One or two predetermined encounters to 4. Oh yeah, before I forget. One or two predetermined encounters to foreshadow the contents of the dungeon. Nick, you like both ways, but drawing them in advance means you can make maps if you need them. Ah, that's fair. I mean, I like to do combat theatre of the mind anyway, especially for smaller combats. But the way I see it, but you know, if I need a map, I usually prefer to just pull one of the blank maps up on Owlbear and use that. Okay, so let's see. Lost and confused wizard wanders the wilderness. Okay, I'll just roll agenda for them. Okay, that's a 5, so they are sure who they are. Show signs for formal education. They have spells memorized, but no spell book. Haven't eaten in a while and look a little beaten up. Can be redirected to a new home if sent to Airedale or Chafford with a successful check. They will they'll get there automatically and safely, because you know sometimes, yeah, sure, there might be a question of wait, how do they get there, but logically, the the PCs would have already travelled that far and probably cleared any monsters away. And you just don't want to force them to think about these things. Just let them claim their new NPC friend and be done with it. Can also guide them to the lab, but will not enter without some serious coercion. If pressed, they'll describe a nameless terror in their heart. Spot the reference. Yep, and that's enough of that. Decrease indent. Or promote or demote level, apparently. I'm using LibreOffice for this, if anyone was wondering. Sort of an open source version of Microsoft Office. Okay, what else can we do? Oh, I know. A mysterious figure will approach the party on the road and ask where they're going. Yep, if the party tell the truth, they'll cryptically talk about it being a failure and that they're welcome to anything they can take. Enter at your own risk. If pressed, they will hand over a key which will bypass the need to get permission from the lab assistants who live there. If the party attack him or are in any way hostile, he will simply disappear without a trace. Exclaiming only. It's Cant Law all over again. Anyways, that should be enough for the journey there, so let's focus on the traps and the cast. So yeah, first NPC we want is a guard. Now everyone here is going to be sort of some, it's basically going to be a lab assistant, so some might be wizards. Well, they're all going to be wizards in one way or another. But you know, there's no reason you can't, a wizard can't multi-class a bit. So, oh yeah, before we continue, I'm just going to disappear for a second. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab my copy of the Blades in the Dark rulebook, because I want to use the chart from that. And back again. Hey, thing about actually living in a place is I actually have multiple parts of my home to move to now. So yeah, obviously you can roll randomly for gender, or as it describes it, looks. So I'm just going to use this chart. I mean, it's obviously not perfect because it's designed for like the Blades in the Dark setting, but it's a good start. So we're going to roll a 2 and a 4. So that gives us a tall, and let's get another objective. 1 and a 4. So that's tall and okay, tall and a short. Let's roll that again. Actually, no, let's not. Short by the standards of a... Now, what one of the taller races in D&D? Well, species, rather. I suppose I should maybe consider grabbing my copy of Monsters of the Multiverse, but that seems like too much effort. So let's see. Obviously you have the elves who are tall. Goliaths are obviously part giants, very tall indeed. Oh yeah, you know what, I'm overthinking this. Tall by the standards of a halfling. Okay. Nick, Captain Parsnip. I see what you did there. I mean, I don't think they'll really have like a guard hierarchy here because they're just taking it in turns to guard the entrance, amongst other things, so... Yep, that's right, they're communists. They live in a commune. You know what, I can't really think of him being called anything but Parsnip now, though. Okay, what would the first name be, though? Okay, what's a good halfling name? You know, we'll still make it a bit more fancy-ish and go for the Welsh word for parsnips. Panas. Exactly, Enfys. A little panas as a treat. For some reason, I mean, I know parsnips are kind of a, maybe not as stereotypical as leeks, but kind of a stereotypical Welsh thing, but the Duolingo Welsh course just brings them up so often. It's kind of weird. And like, in particular, whenever the name Owen's used, it implies he's kind of got like a baldric turnip sort of thing going on. Like one of them is my Owen and Defa at a panas, or Owen is arguing with the parsnips. Nick, I see you know your judo well. And you, sir, are you ready to receive my limp panas? Nick, why? Okay, to be fair, I did read that out loud, so that's on me, and no one else. Okay, so Panas, okay, he's a guard, we'll just call him Flatfoot. I mean, he does things other than guarding, but when the PCs meet him, he'll be a guard, and that's kind of what matters. I resist the urge to make his surname Cupcake. Wait, no. His nickname is Cupcake. We'll see if anyone gets the reference. Don't know why, but there's a comic I saw that basically goes, it's just like it's just sort of been floating around the internet a while now, but it's basically just like an ancient vampire who's like, my titles were doodle-da, and the last panel is her being woken up from her coffin in modern times by her girlfriend, who's just like your standard well, she's got the whole dirtbag lesbian look going on, and she's like, hey, wake up, Cream Puff. And I don't know why, but that comic stuck in my head and has been for the last few days. Anyways. Yeah, tall by the standards of the halfling. Let's just roll preferred methods just to see what he's like as a guard. So that's a 6 and a 6. He favours chaos. Guess we're going full Kender here. Doesn't take guard duty that seriously. If the PCs don't get a good read on him, he will let them in a way that causes the most drama possible, but will step in if things go too far. You can all see how I type as quickly as I can, but I have to keep going back to fix my mistakes. Okay, yep. Panas Flatfoot. I like him. Oh yeah, it's always nice to just give a bit of a character quote, just to just to, when you introduce the character, get you sort of to help find their voice. So I'll go for sup. What's your business? Yep, so that's the guard. And I'll just brainstorm some more traps. So we've got a pit trap. Maybe some sort of chemical spill. Tempted to put in some sort of malfunctioning sentry, but that doesn't really feel like, that's more like futuristic mad science than like a mad wizard lab. So yeah, not really on theme. Okay, yeah. I guess some sort of test area. Oh, wait, I know. Workshop full of haywire tools. Because the plan here is, well, I obviously know what's going to be in the lab. I do actually have an enemy stat block to create, but this is mostly going to be sort of a trap-based dungeon. Just because the place is falling apart and kind of dangerous to be in. Okay, so, you know, pit traps are easy to justify. You know, the floor just sort of breaks down and crumbles. Assuming, of course, they weren't installed deliberately. Okay, I do actually need something that will kidnap Guinness away into the sort of depths of the dungeon, just so the party has a more specific goal, in addition to their more vague one of learn more about Guinness's past. Ooh, a big pneumatic tube. That's fantastic. Thank you, Nick. Yep, gotta get the internet in there. Oh, buy a pneumatic tube. That's something else entirely. Okay, do you like a chemical spill? I think there's actually a Pathfinder trap I can sort of rip off. What else? Yeah, I actually kind of like the chemical spill, so we'll expand on this a bit. So, chemical spill. So, the way complex traps work is they basically they'll enter initiative. Now, usually they'll have a fixed initiative, so they work kind of like what is it the boss monsters have in 5th edition? Like legendary actions and lair actions. So basically I need to sort of decide what initiative these all work at. Like, you can have multiple effects. So probably like a saving throw, or this happens. Yeah. So it's probably, yeah, so we'll name it. Alchemical spell. Fumes fill the area. Random effects at initiative. And this hallway to a restricted area places the hallways doors of arcane gates at either end, effectively trapping them there until security measures can deal with them. Assuming a password is not given, a la Arcane Ward. Ooh, I like that. Thinking with portals. Yep, that'll be interesting to come up with a solution for. Okay, so random effects at initiative. Alright, so I have the DMG rules for traps here. They're a bit bare bones, but at the very least it has sort of damage. Now, I might need to be sort of sparing of damage, considering I think the party is, well, the party's level 3, and I think they're mostly all wizard. Try Xanathars for complex traps. Oh, sadly I don't have a copy of Xanathars, which I really should fix, but... Oh, wow. What's all this then? Oh, cool. This is from Wednesday. Yep. Yeah, so basically, obviously, I was gifted a bunch of stuff via phone on Wednesday, and this is basically one of them was a delivery gift card, which has been okayed. For some reason, it withholds them for 2 days. So yeah, I've got the code for that, so that'll be great. Sorry for the interruption. Anyways, to be fair, I think there are some examples of complex traps here. Oh, they redesigned them entirely in Xanathar's Guide. That explains why the Dungeon Master's Guide doesn't actually have that much in there. Luckily, I also have in front of me here the Game Master's Book of Traps, Puzzles and Dungeons by Jeff Ashworth. A punishing collection of bone-crunching contraptions, brain-teasing riddles, and stamina-testing encounter locations for 5th edition RPG adventures. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the traps in here. Doesn't really have anything for level 3, so I'm going to have to improvise. That should give me a sort of an idea. Okay, yep, nothing for level, anything below level 10. Alright, maybe I can Google the trap rules for Xanathars. Okay, that's just the rules for the GMG. Okay, here's a guide. Xanathar's guide breaks complex traps down into a few parts. Level or threat, how dangerous is the trap, how lethal is it? Trigger, what sets it off? Initiative, when does the trap take actions during combat? Active elements. Dynamic elements. Constant elements. And countermeasures. Okay, the fandom wiki. So we're looking for trap levels of 1 to 4. And should do something equivalent to a cantrip. Yes, if only there were tools for 5e that could help here. Don't know why, but I keep forgetting 5e tools are a thing. Okay, experience for complex traps. 650 XP points, I should jot that down. Yep, this is me, experienced DM, Erin. Okay, let's look at some examples of a complex trap. The Path of Blades. So trigger, this activates as soon as any non-undead creature enters the hallway, and it remains active while any non-undead creature is within the hall. Initiative, it acts on initiative 20 and initiative count 10. Active elements, the Path of Blades, including a set of whirling blades along the first 80 feet, crushing pillars that slam down from the ceiling of the floor for rising. Okay, so the whirling blades act at initiative 20, the crushing pillars act at initiative 10, and a Rune of Fear activates at initiative 10. dynamic elements. As the trap goes on, the blades accelerate and slow only when they hit a target, so they do more damage for each round they don't hit someone. Okay, so countermeasures. Okay, I've got this now. So we need trigger, initiative, active elements. Dynamic elements. Constant elements. And countermeasures. Okay, just copy paste that into everything. Right then, so our chemical spill trigger. So I feel like the spill would have already happened. Oh, I know. The door to a walk-in storage opened, letting the fumes out. They react with the ambient of the we'll just say workshop for now. I still need to work out where this trap's going to be. Basically, I'm gonna, after I've worked out these traps and NPCs, I'll sort of sketch out the full dungeon. I might do another sort of stream for that, or I might just do it offline, but we'll see. Ambient magic of the workshop. To form a toxic cloud. As well as resting the hinges straight off the door. Okay, yep, that's good. Can't make it too easy to do anything about it. So initiative. I'll say the trap. Acts at initiative count 20. So active elements. A cloud of fumes expands from the cupboard, growing, let's say 10 feet in radius. At each initiative count. At initiative 20. You are all going to see how many different ways I keep trying to spell the word initiative. At initiative 20, the fumes change effect. Dynamic elements. The fume every turn. Constant elements. Any creature starts its turn in the fume cloud. Must make. Now, do I want to tie different saving throws to different effects, or do I just want one saving throw for any of the effects? Yeah, actually, I feel like some might be con, some might be wisdom. Because, you know, a cloud of fumes might either make you kind of dizzy and act strangely, or it might just poison you, so... DC, what's an appropriate DC for this kind of trap? Okay, so it depends on the level of the trap, so a moderate trap danger should be a DC of 10. Yeah, that feels a bit wimpy. Let's make this a dangerous trap. DC 15. I mean, it's not the first trap the PCs are going to run into. Depending on the effect. Roll a random effect at initiative. Yep, any creature that starts its turn in the fume cloud or enters for the first time on a turn. Okay, from the following table. And let's just insert a table. Cue that one line from Icky's. Oh, LibreOffice has updated the table tool since I last used it. This is nice. Right, how many different effects shall we give this? D10 maybe? Yeah. D20? You reckon D20 would be too many? Okay, it goes up to 15. Okay, so save. D20. I can add some rows. Insert rows below. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10. Okay, so we're up to 15, so we need another 5. Okay, there we go. So D20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. And 20. Okay, so we're going for moderate. Oh wait, no, so we're going for a dangerous trap, so that's got to be something equivalent to a cantrip or first level spell. So let's just bring up the magic spell list. So what first level spells could we have? Ah, Ceremony, of course, the deadliest spell in the entire game. Think of all the problems it will cause with paperwork if the PCs had been married without realising it. Actually, you know what? These are the earlier effects, so let's throw in a few funny ones. Effects. Any water the PC is carrying becomes holy water. Actually, no, that's too easy. Wisdom. On save. Otherwise, it becomes toxic. Would that be too cruel? Do you reckon it would be too cruel? Actually, this is getting a bit complicated, isn't it? Now we'll stick to the holy water. If they fail the save, they will not notice. There we go. And first you'd leave it becomes wholly toxic. Yeah, I think I like this way better because it's that's nice and simple. And you know, if they fail the save, they're just going to be paranoid the entire time. It'll be great. And I mean, their water becoming toxic wouldn't be sort of too much of a issue because, well, thinking about it, if I accidentally make the all the party's water toxic, they're basically doomed because they'll be stranded without any clean water. You know what though? I mean, it's going to be a lab. There's probably going to be somewhere where they can get some replacement drinking water. And this, yeah, you've got a good point. It becomes a puzzle to solve. Yep, there we go. The poison is DC 10 ingested. D8. Save halves. Yep, I'm happy with that. Anyway, that's what happens when you decide to base a trap effect on ceremony. Okay, what other first level spells do we have? Oh, Fairy Fire. So yeah, we'll make that a con save. The creature begins glowing with a sickly green light. They shed dim light in a 10-foot radius. How long should this last? Okay, Fairy Fire is up to a minute, so we'll say an hour. That'll be long enough to make sure there's actual consequences. Wait, 1d4 hours. And any attacks on them are at advantage. And they can't benefit from being invisible. So yep, that's basically just Fairy Fire. A criminally underrated spell. Okay, should do some damaging spells though. Yeah, actually, this is probably best as Dex. So I'll just eliminate the bit where it says it has to be a Wisdom or Con. Okay, Dexterity saving throw. The cloud becomes conductive. And a bolt of jumps from a nearby device or wall. Yeah, I suppose the cloud should be making an attack since this is replicating Witch Bolt. makes an attack that deals attack at +5. Okay. And dangerous is 2d10. Cool. I suppose it's not technically dex. Maybe for consistency I should make it a saving throw. I'll just put non-applicable. Okay. Ooh, let's replicate fog cloud. Strange alchemical mixtures coat the creature and slowly evaporate, creating a thick fog around them. Obscuring their vision. Oh, the creature. Paris in the spring. Everything is heavily obscured to them unless they take a bonus action to wave some of the fog away. Yeah, that sounds good. No effect on save. Nice thing about having a printer is as soon as I've finished here, I can basically print this off and have it straight to hand. Okay, let's go for something else damaging. One of my favourite low-level spells, Ice Knife. The chemical makeup of the clouds begins drawing in all begins an endothermic reaction. Two d6 cold damage on a failed save. I suppose it should be 2d10. Okay, more than a quarter of the way there. What else we got? Oh, I've got a good one. Where's anyone in the cloud who fails their save perceives anyone else in the cloud as an enemy, regardless if they have failed their save or not. Yeah, that should be a fun RP opportunity. Oh yeah, actually I should just double check that's not anyone's line. Pretty sure it isn't, but okay, hard lines, violence against children, sexual content, non-consensual sexual content, bigotry, suicide, soft lines, slavery, and elderly in distress. Okay, we're cool. Okay, what else we got? If you're wondering, by the way, that effect was inspired by Friends. Okay. Oh yeah, let's go for something illusionary. Ooh, this is interesting. So maybe some reverse armor of Agathis. So con save. Is coated sticky goo that's cold to the touch. The next d6 attacks against them. Deal an extra d4 of cold damage. Wait. Yeah, let's make that a d6. Armor of Agathis is just an automatic 5 points of cold damage, but okay, nearly halfway there. I suppose this is why people don't particularly like, you know, traps that involve large charts. Ah yes, Chaos Bolt. Ooh, I know. Yeah, this is going to be really mean. The next living creature they look at okay, wait. Now I need to word that a bit better. The next time a living creature enters the energy will spring forth and make a ranged spell with a +8 to hit, dealing (1d10) damage. Wait, is that right? Oh, 2d10 damage rather. Of the last type of the last type of damage the creature can remember taking. Okay, just reread that to make sure it makes sense. On failure, a massive chaotic energy builds up in the creature's eyes. The next time a living creature enters their line of sight. Okay. The energy will spring forth and make a ranged spell attack. Okay. They know this immediately, but can't prevent it and can close the eyes if they wish, but can't prevent it. Okay, what else we got? Oh yeah, let's just do something wisdom. The creature immediately drops prone as the fumes overwhelm them. Oh yeah, so something I learned recently actually. Apparently overwhelm is a nautical term. Although I'm not entirely certain what it originally meant. Yeah, let's just throw in something that doesn't really do anything for funsies. On a failed save, the creature is coated in a shiny oil. This doesn't appear to have any effect, except leaving their hair and skin nicely moisturised and scented. Begone, bot. Oh, thank you, Nick. Okay. What else we got? Yeah, for the next time I do these, I really should consider getting some music or something. on the cloud forms a bubble of material around the creature. Any attacks against them or made by them are at disadvantage for an hour as the bubble absorbs the force. Maybe I could just be lazy and make this a D12 worth. Yeah. I'll do that. I don't think I'll need a D20 worth of effects. Let's just make the formatting on this table a bit nicer. There we go. Okay, and how do we counter this spill of alchemical chemicals? Okay, let's say strength athletics can be used with an appropriate tool to waft the fumes away. This slows the clouds advance for 1 turn. Yeah, we'll call that DC 10 just because it's DC 15. Intelligence, herbalist. Oh. Kit, alchemist supplies, brewer's tool, eggs, etc. Can be used to try and counteract the spillage with the other supplies in the cupboard. Strength, athletics, or dex, acrobatics can be used to push the door back in place. After this, a DC 15 check in any appropriate tool can be used to fix it in place. Oh yeah, set some DCs. So I'll make it 15 for the acrobatics check, but only 10 for the athletics. Okay, and I'll change the the wafting to reduces. The clouds size by 10 feet. Putting the door in place stops the cloud. Okay, so that means the players can basically push the door back in place, waft the cloud away, and then nail it shut. That's a good solution. But they can also try and counteract the actual spill. And that takes successful DC 15 checks. One to identify the counter reagents. One to mix them. And one to safely apply them. Okay, yeah, that's I think that works. just highlight the DCs and the checks. Okay. Well, 2 hours in and we have 1 entire trap. Excellent. Okay, big pneumatic tube. Out of interest, Nick, when you said pneumatic tube, do you mean like the kind they you can put a little you can just put something in like a little sort of capsule thing and just have it sort of zipped to another side of a building? Or did you mean something else entirely? Okay, this huge pneumatic tube is designed to quickly send objects to other parts of the lab. Unfortunately, it has no safety measures. Okay. So trigger a creature enters the loading marked area of the capsule. Now, what effects would this have? I guess it would just basically kidnap someone away. Oh, another thing about the spill. If the spill is decontaminated, if the trap is defeated this way, there is extra loot from the cupboard. Yeah. Anyway, back to the pneumatic tube. Actually, no, not a creature. It would be kind of weird if it was activated by someone stepping inside it. someone moves near a large lever, a precarious pile of books on a table, DC 13, wisdom perception to spot, will fall over and pull it. Or if the lever is pulled anyway, it has a shiny red handle and is marked pull. Wow, how did I manage to type that? If the lever is pulled anyway. Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting older, but I kind of feel like it's just increasing that I'm going back, looking at what I typed, and just made a bunch of ridiculous mistakes. Initiative. And the capsules activate at... Oh wait. A capsule... For goodness sake, Alex, stop it. Okay, the trap activates at initiative 20. Active elements. The trap has a powerful gust of wind. Propelling the capsules as well as the capsules itself. Dynamic elements. So this is probably the perfect trap for Guinness to be accidentally kidnapped away by. So I'm kind of tempted to have it so anyone who gets caught in the trap gets scooped up, but yeah, just common wisdom says you don't split the party. Okay, pneumatic capsule. DC. DC 15. We'll call this a... Would this be dexterity or strength? Yeah, we'll call it dexterity, because it's just dodging out of the way. Any creature in the tube. Area. Or take... I suppose I should be using the proper notation here, but I'm lazy. And, you know, successful save, half damage. Get something for the rogues there. Yep, just add a quick note. NB, if Guinness is present, then they will immediately be trapped in a capsule and sent off to the depths of the lab. I'm probably probably going to have a few different sort of ways Guinness can sort of be end up lost. And, you know, obviously it'll be possible for the PCs just to preempt this and prevent it. And obviously, well, main advantage there is they'll have a sentient black pudding to help them get through the dungeon. But worst case scenario, they'll have an objective. Okay, so, yeah. Hazard, pneumatic capsule. Okay, I've only found a trap that's basically quite similar to the potion spell, except it's like 11th to 16th level. The Poison Tempest from Xanathar's Guide. Oh, there's some scary numbers. Okay. Oh, the capsule will then pop out of the track. Flip open a hatch. If there is a capsule already next to it, it will be knocked onto the adjacent track and zoom off. You know what, I think I'll make this part of a library. think the most evil thing a GM can do is just have the means by which a trap is activated just be like a lever marked pull. Okay, so dynamic elements. Any open capsule will potentially whisk anyone foolish enough to be standing inside it away. Okay, pneumatic winds, anyone moving on the track while it is active must make a DC 15 strength saving throw or move at half speed. I mean, I suppose I could have them not prone, but no, I think that's more getting hit by a capsule thing. Basically the same as if they're being affected by gust of wind. Oh, thank you for the follow, TD's idea machines. TD is fine, fair enough. Hope you're having a nice evening, or whatever it happens to be in your time zone. Sorry if my voice is sounding a bit faint. It's been a bit of a busy day, and well, to be fair, I've been streaming 2.5 hours already. I mean, I was going to be playing D&D, but it was cancelled, and I guess I would have been talking during that, but at the very least I'd been taking my turn. But anyway, I'm just doing prep for a D&D game I'm running myself in like 2 weeks' time. Yeah, DM had to basically call in sick. What part am I working on of the semi-abandoned lab? Well, at the moment I'm basically working on some traps. My idea here is there'll be a very specific mob that I'm not going to sort of stat on stream because I don't want my players to know about it. But basically all the other encounters are going to be traps from parts of the sort of lab that have broken down. So far I've got a spill of alchemical ingredients that have created a cloud that does random effects. and I'm just working on a giant pneumatic tube in a library sort of area. So we've got pneumatic capsules that knock people over, pneumatic winds that make the natural tracks hard to move across, and it's going to basically kidnap. If it goes successfully, it's going to sort of kidnap away the friendly NPC the characters have with them, who happens to be a sentient black pudding called Guinness. Okay, constant elements. I suppose the pneumatic winds probably belong under the constant elements. Okay, and countermeasures. There is a large button labelled emergency shutdown at the opposite end of the room. It's stiff and will take a DC 15. Now that's a bit too cruel. DC 10. Athletics check to push. Or can be doing so will immediately switch the trap off. TD, you imagine those decontamination airways where they spray you down, hose you off, etc. But the system is broken, so all it does is spray something that used to be sanitizer, and everyone soaked is then everyone soaked, and then toss them into some electric tracks to recap. Oh, that is diabolical. I love it. Okay, just note that down. Decontamination room. I'll get back to that in a bit. Oh, yeah. There is another shutdown button. Hidden behind a pile of books. It takes a DC 20 wisdom perception check to notice. This is reduced to 15 if the pile near the switch, near the lever, has fallen. Some of the traps might be hazardous broken equipment, plasma ball burst open, breaker switch flipped, mid-experiment, so the auto reset was on, so it fires back up every 6 seconds, shoots out plasma. Yeah, I think that's a bit science fiction-y. This is basically sort of like a wizard's lab sort of situation, not a sort of modern science lab, although it is kind of inspired by Fallout's Vault, so that could work. Reduced 15 if the power near the lever has fallen. If it has not, clearing books takes 2 actions. Do I want to make this harder? I probably shouldn't overcomplicate it. Yeah. Takes an action if the books have not fallen, then a dexterity saving throw or dex sleight of hand check of 15 is needed not to nudge them into the lever. Both switches are connected to a box in the middle of the room, which can be tripped manually with a DC 15 dexterity thieves tools check. I always think there should be an obvious way for a rogue to disarm a trap. Make it a puzzle where they have to turn off the machinery. If they just want to smash it, it'll take a while and shock the heck out of them in the process. Map of objects they can run to and brace against the magical electrical fire. And they have a game of the floor is lava. Ooh, that's also good. Yeah, I already have something quite similar to that, which is workshop full of haywire tools. So that could definitely work that way. Oh, yep. Now the pit trap here is just going to be like a pit trap. A crude pit trap guards the corridor to the secure wing of the lab. It is intended to trap intruders and scare them a bit, but not really hurt them. So yeah, I think we can have one actual trap here as a treat. Trigger a character steps in just steps over the pit. Okay, initiative. Trap act at initiative 10. Okay, just add a note about Guinness. If Guinness is trapped in the pit, they will be scared by the water. Active elements. As soon as the trap is activated, Oh yeah, actually, I'll also take the Flora's lava trap. Feels very Half-Life. Oh yeah, and I do like the idea of being able to switch off machines with the proper procedure instead of smashing them to get some extra reward. In fact, I actually have the perfect sort of thing for that. Because basically the sort of overall plan for this is, hopefully none of the PCs are listening in, but basically it's sort of like a cloning facility for a wizard who used sort of like a combination of reincarnation and contingency to cheat death. And the final area is just going to be sort of like a load of pods with clones in them. And I was thinking one of the rewards might be that the PCs can attune themselves to one of the empty pods, so they basically get a free use of reincarnate if they die. Speaking of Fallout, well, I have little snippets of lore story sprinkled around. Then at the end, they decide the fate of something. Well, this is part of a sort of a West Marches style campaign with lore, and I am sort of tying this dungeon into. Basically, before the West Marches campaign, I was a player in. In fact, I'll give him a shout out. In Nick, aka His Cursednesses. Actual play, the Guild of Icons. And one of the sort of villains to the end of it was a wizard called Winifred, who basically had a powerful artifact that was needed to sort of resolve the campaign. And the lab's basically his. And this is sort of, I think he's probably, well, obviously Nick's sort of in charge of the wider plot because overall it's his campaign, but yeah, I'm just, we can also, this DMing is also open, so anyone can also just do a quest if they want. So this is sort of tying into that lore. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some lore dumps and optional lore, and well, the main thing is Guinness, the sentient black pudding, is trying to learn more about themselves here. So there might be some hard choices here, but maybe nothing serious. It's only still the campaign's still only at level 1 to 4 at the moment, so I don't want to sort of have any sort of clear lore yet, but I want to sort of sow the seeds for what might come up later. And the nice thing is, because it's a West Marches style campaign, I can sort of snooze. You know, I can just drop whatever I want and not worry too much about it because, you know, collaborative effort and all that. Oh yeah, so the pit trap, as soon as the trap is activated, the creature who triggered it must make a DC 15 Dex save or be dumped in the pit below. The hatch then closes unless someone else steps on it. Well, just closes and resets. Okay, dynamic elements. Soon as a creature falls in, a klaxon goes off. And the pit begins to fill with a foot of water. At initiative, let's make it 20 and 10, so it just fills up a bit more. It feels a bit more urgent. Constant elements, none. If the water level reaches 5 feet. Okay, how to manage to type that? Then it starts draining out of a grate at the other side and won't rise any further. Because, as I mentioned earlier, it's basically there to basically catch out intruders and scare them a bit. Countermeasures. The trap door can be jammed shut with a DC 20 Dexterity Thieves Tools check, making it a non-issue. The trapdoor can be wrenched open with a DC 20 strength check. Just make it a raw strength check because they can always use a crowbar or something to get advantage. And I always think just sort of you know, just using strength to brute force something, a trap or something, should be difficult. If a creature deliberately triggers the trap, they have advantage on their saving throw. And they, or an adjacent creature who has held their turn or not taken it yet. Don't want to allow that. Really not going to help my reputation as the nice DM, but I'm going to allow it. Can make a DC 15 tools check. Or a wisdom perception check. To spot a bypass switch. Flipping this locks the hatch open and drains the water. Yep, sorry everyone, my voice is starting to go a bit, by the way. The klaxon can be disarmed by finding a control panel with the password written on it. DC 15 intelligence investigation. Or simply trying to break it. AC let's say 14. And 4 HP. resistant to slashing and piercing. Okay, that's a... Yep, that'll do as a pit trap. What are we up to? Nearly 3 hours. Wow, maybe a couple more traps. Yeah, wanted to do this suggestion by Enfys. Password protected hallway. The doors are replaced with arcane gates to trap intruders until they can be dealt with. Trigger. A creature moves through the first with no more creatures within 10 feet of the other side. Initiative. The doors at each end of the corridor have a hazy field of energy appear on them. The entrance is blue and the exit is orange. Spot the subtle reference. A soft voice announces extra-dimensional containment in place. Intruders, please wait for a staff member to interrogate you. Have a lovely day. Right, intruders, please stand by for a welcoming party. Would do not resist be too on the nose. Ah, what am I saying? You can't be too on the nose as far as puzzles are concerned. Place any and all weapons on the ground, so your hands are free to accept your gifts. Wait, your welcoming gifts. Yep, that'll do. You know, I'll make it 5 feet so it's just no one immediately next to the door. Because the trap's sort of bypassable if some characters are left on the outside. Oh wait, this should go under active elements, not initiative. Because I am a fool, a chair, and a clown. Okay, now should this actually have some sort of hazardous element to it, or should it just keep them trapped until they find a way out? Okay, this trap activates at initiative 20. TD, going to get some food and chores done. Definitely hazardous, but with a limit both in hazard and duration of being trapped. Yeah. I mean, if anyone's caught outside it, they'll have an easy way to disarm it, because the presumption is any intruders won't just be able to do that, but obviously it's been abandoned. But yep, good luck with your food and chores. I'm probably just going to finish up this trap and raid out, so thank you for dropping by. Nice to meet you, and have a good food and chores, I guess. Okay, let's see. So, dynamic element. Actually, I'll put... Wait, no, that should be under constant elements. Okay, dynamic elements. Like every 15 IRL minutes. Not really a fan of doing IRL time unless that's part of the overall theme of the dungeon. But yeah, actually, the idea of an enemy being dropped in does actually give me an idea, because this dungeon does have a unique mob, but I'm going to keep to myself. So that's a good idea, thank you. Party protocol. At initiative 20. there is a, yeah, let's call it 50% chance at Azure Initiative 20, a hatch in the ceiling a redacted I know what this will be, but I'll keep that under my hat for now. Climbs down and attacks. If there is one present, it will instead take its turn. Okay, countermeasures. If any characters are stuck outside the corridor, they'll hear the voice from the previous room. The door will remain normal from their perspective, but they can reach through but we'll need to make a DC 15 strength check, not to simply get sucked into the corridor. If they pass, they can pull one person out of the corridor. With a DC 10 Arcana check, they can determine there must be some sort of passphrase which will grant them administrative access to this trap. Okay, and I think that can be a puzzle to work out another time. And yeah, my voice is starting to go a bit, so I think I'll call the stream here. So yeah, this has been the first stream of my new monitor, and a very lovely monitor it is too. Thanks everyone who contributed to it. Oh yeah, this evening before I go to bed I'll probably throw up a poll to determine what I start streaming on Monday, so yeah, if anyone wants to throw in any suggestions in chat or message them to me later, go ahead. And who have we got streaming? Someone's streaming more Crimson Diamond. Gila Dark streaming Fortnite. Not really a Fortnite fan. Ooh, the Bunyip Man streaming Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. I kind of want to see more of that, so I think I'll stream... I think I'll raid the Bunyip Man. There are two kinds of people here. People who think soon may the Bunyip Man come, or the Bunyip Man who lives down Cranberry Lane. So yep, would have been playing D&D tonight, but again that was cancelled sadly. I might do some more prep streams over the weekend, might not, depending on how I feel. And obviously keep an eye on my usual socials. Oh, for anyone new here, you can find my streams on YouTube. Glad you enjoyed it, Nick. So that I just keep my VODs there if you want to see my archive. Well, not much else to say. I'll throw up a poll to stay up over the weekend. Raid messages, bread raid, and any emojis you want to throw in. And yeah, everyone have a lovely weekend. And we're going to raid in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And I still did the count off my hand, don't worry. And yep, glad you enjoyed the stream. Wait, did I already say that? Yep, I'm losing my mind. Yep, raid's going through now. Bye. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment and subscribe.